Hello students. So far we have discussed all the developments that led to the Bohr's model, and then we talked about Bohr's model also and the limitations attached with it. So in the view of the shortcoming of the Bohr's model, the attempts were being made to develop a more suitable and a general model for atoms. And then at the same time there were two important developments that were happening in the world which led to the formulation of a new model which is called as a quantum mechanical model. But before we move to what is quantum mechanical model, we need to figure out what are these 2 points which were really helpful in designing this model. The first one was dual nature of matter. Like before Bohr's model, dual nature of electromagnetic radiations came into the picture, and that helped Bohr's model to develop its model. Now, when Bohr's model was also got rejected, the next model in the picture used these two assumptions for a better picture which is followed till now. Right. Now the first one is dual nature of the matter, and the second is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. We'll discuss both of them one by one. Let's start with dual nature of matter. Now what is dual nature? जहाँ इतनी सारी बात हुई कि लाइट के पास डुअल नेचर है, इलेक्ट्रॉन के पास डुअल नेचर है, वेव भी है, पार्टिकल भी है, ये किसने करा था? ये हुआ था बोर से पहले. उन्होंने कहा था दैट लाइट हैव रेडिएशंस विच आर बोथ वेव लाइक एंड पार्टिकल लाइक. पार्टिकल लाइक के लिए हमने प्रूव किया था कि वो फोटोन है बाय फोटो इलेक्ट्रिक इफेक्ट. राइट. तो अब इसके बाद एक साइंटिस्ट आए जिनका नाम था डी ब्रोगले. ही सेड व्हाई कांट वी से दैट पार्टिकल आल्सो हैज वेव नेचर. राइट. सो ही सेड दैट ऑल मैटर, अभी तक ऊपर सिर्फ लाइट की बात हो रही थी, डी ब्रोगले ने कहा ऑल मैटर दैट इज पार्टिकल, मैटर इज पार्टिकल वी ऑल नो, ऑल्सो हैज डुअल नेचर. That means it has particle plus wave like. तो अब तक हम मैटर को कहते थे कि सिर्फ वो पार्टिकल लाइक है, पर डी ब्रोगले ने कहा कि मैटर भी तो वेव नेचर शो कर सकता है. इसके लिए डी ब्रोगले ने क्या किया? ही टुक टू अजम्पशंस. वन वॉज फ्रॉम आइंस्टाइन. आइंस्टाइन ने कहा था एनर्जी इज इक्वल टू mc स्क्वायर, और एक हमारे प्लैंक थे जिन्होंने कहा था एनर्जी इज इक्वल टू hc. सो व्हाट ही डिड वाज ही कंपेयर्ड बोथ ऑफ देम एंड ही सेड mc square is equal to h nu if I am talking about energy of matter. So mc square is equal to h. What is nu? Nu is c by lambda. So what would be nu? It is hc by lambda. One c from here and one c from here will get struck off. So it will be mc upon h upon lambda. And since he was talking about the wavelength so much, so he derived the value for wavelength from this comparison. Lambda would be equal to h upon mc. Now what is c? C is velocity of light. Right. So if I am talking about a photon, so then I can say lambda is equal to h upon mc, where c is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. But if I am talking about a particle, it is not a photon fully. So if it is a particle, so lambda would be h upon mv, where v will be the velocity of particle. Right. So he said that lambda is equal to h upon mv, which is also written as h upon p. What is p? P is momentum of particle. राइट, विच इज इक्वल टू mv. ये फिजिक्स में भी आप पढ़ोगे मोमेंटम का फॉर्मूला. सो एज पर हिम दिस इज द वेवलेंथ ऑफ मैटर दैट हैज टू बी कैलकुलेटेड. तो अगर मुझे अब एक इलेक्ट्रॉन के लिए कैलकुलेट करना हो तो मुझे मेरा लैम्डा क्या होगा? लैम्डा वुड बी एच की वैल्यू 6.63 इंटू 10 टू द पावर -34. यहाँ मैं जूल वाला यूनिट नहीं लिखूंगी, यहाँ मैं दूसरा यूनिट लिखूंगी, kg मीटर स्क्वायर पर सेकेंड. मास, अब मास भी, क्योंकि आप लैम्डा वेवलेंथ इलेक्ट्रॉन का निकाल रहे हो तो आपको मास भी इलेक्ट्रॉन का लेना है. इलेक्ट्रॉन का मास क्या है? 9.1 इंटू 10⁻31 kg multiplied by speed of light, which is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So there was a value which was attached to योर इलेक्ट्रॉन, एंड वी वर सेइंग दैट इलेक्ट्रॉन इज मूविंग विद द स्पीड ऑफ लाइट. ये किसी कोई और भी स्पीड हो सकती थी. अगर मैंने उसको अज्यूम किया है कि वो स्पीड ऑफ लाइट की स्पीड से चल रही है तो ये होगा. तो नाउ इससे मुझे क्या पता लगा कि इलेक्ट्रॉन हैज़ अ वेव कैरेक्टर. और अभी तक बोर क्या कह रहा था? वो ये कह रहा था कि इलेक्ट्रॉन इज अ पार्टिकल. तो ये जो डिस्कवरी हुई थी, दिस वॉज अ मेजर ब्लो. इसने सबसे ज़्यादा बोर मॉडल को हिला दिया था. क्योंकि बोर मॉडल क्या कह रहा था? बोर मॉडल ने कहा था ये मेरा न्यूक्लियस है, ये मेरे ऑर्बिट्स हैं, यहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रॉन है, एंड दे आर मूविंग लाइक दिस और इन दी अदर डायरेक्शन. ये उनका रेगुलर पाथ रहता है. पर अगर हम डी ब्रोगले की माने, अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन इज वेव, तो अब ये कैसे घूमेगा? अगर ये वेव है तो इसको ऐसे घूमना चाहिए, है कि नहीं? सो नाउ बिकॉज ऑफ डी ब्रोगले कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ पाथ, क्योंकि बोर तो बार बार एक ही बात कह रहा था दैट इलेक्ट्रॉन फॉलोज अ पाथ, देर इज एन ऑर्बिट, देर इज अ शेल. तो ये सारे जो कॉन्सेप्ट थे ये सारे के सारे बिल्कुल ही खराब हो गए. सो डी ब्रोगले was the one who gave a major blow to Bohr's model. It was the very first thing जिसने सबसे पहले बोर मॉडल की shortcoming पकड़ी थी. So now there is also one thing that if I am taking this formula for de Broglie, जब उसने कहा कि डुअल नेचर है मैटर का, तो उसके लिए दो चीज़ें बहुत ज़रूरी थी. एक चीज़ तो ये थी कि मास बहुत कम होना चाहिए. अगर फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैं किसी इंसान का वेवलेंथ निकालना चाह रही हूँ, वो इंसान भाग रहा है, इंसान का मास तो बहुत ज़्यादा होने वाला है, कम से कम 10-15, अगर वो बच्चा भी है तो लेके 50 किलो 100 किलो जो भी होने वाला है. जितना भी तेज़ भाग ले, वेलोसिटी इतनी तेज़ तो नहीं होने वाली. स्पीड ऑफ लाइट के कंपैरिजन में तो कुछ भी नहीं है वो. तो अगर मास बहुत ज़्यादा हुआ और वेलोसिटी कम हुई तो मेरा लैम्डा की तो वैल्यू इनसिग्निफिकेंट है. तो इसीलिए whenever I am going to talk about dual nature of matter, the mass has to be very less, right? And velocity, the object has to be moving. ये स्टेशनरी ऑब्जेक्ट के लिए तो आप अप्लाई करोगे ही नहीं. Why? If it is at rest, then that means v is equal to 0. तो अगर वो v 0 पे है तो that means उसका लैम्डा हो गया 0. और 0 क्या मतलब? I can say it is anything upon 0 is not defined, right? So whenever you are talking about lambda is equal to h upon mv, it is only for light particles. Light से मेरा मतलब है हल्के, not heavy. Light particles plus the moving particles. Particle at rest को तो आप consider ही नहीं करोगे. He also said one thing, that if lambda is less than 10 to the power minus 25 मीटर, अगर वो इससे भी कम डिस्टेंस पे और इससे भी कम उसकी वेव लेंथ है, देन वी कैन इग्नोर द वेव नेचर. तो फिर आप छोड़ ही सकते हो कि उसका वेव नेचर भी होगा. तब तो हम यही कहेंगे कि इट इज़ ओनली अ पार्टिकल. सो देर वर फ्यू कंडीशंस दैट वर अटैच्ड विद डी ब्रोगलेज डिस्कवरी, बट मोर और लेस इट वॉज फिटिंग द पिक्चर परफेक्टली. सो नाउ इफ आई से लेट्स टेक एन एग्जाम्पल. If the question says find wavelength of a ball of 80 grams moving with 70 किलोमीटर पर आवर. ठीक है, बॉल है तो दैट मीन्स इलेक्ट्रॉन और ऐसी कोई बात नहीं हो रही है, तो मेरा डुअल नेचर तो है ही पिक्चर में, h upon mv. So now what is h? h is 6.6 into 10 to the power minus 34 kg meter square per second, right? Now mass, since my h value is in kg, I do not want to take my mass in grams. So what will I do is I will write 80 upon 1000 kg multiplied by, what is it? The speed is 70 kilometers per hour. So 70 kilometer per hour, but rest of the things are in meter per second. So what will I do is I will convert it into meters by multiplying it by 1000 divided by, पहले मैं इसको मिनट्स में चेंज करूँगी और फिर seconds में चेंज करूँगी. So now whatever value you will get will be the wavelength of the ball. Now similarly, if the question says find wavelength of an electron moving with 10% of speed of light. तो पहले तो मुझे ये देखना है स्पीड क्या है. वो कह रहा है 10% of speed of light. So 10% means 10 upon 100 into 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So it is 1, so it becomes 3 into 10 to the power 7 meter per second. So what will be the value for lambda? It is going to be h upon mv. अब हमें जब भी मास दिया होगा किसी बॉल का, किसी ऑब्जेक्ट का, तो हमें डी ब्रोगले ही लगाना है, क्योंकि नाउ वी आर अज्यूमिंग दैट इट हैज़ डुअल नेचर. सो h upon mv, h is again 6.6 into 10 to the power minus 34 kg meters square per second upon mass is 9.1 into 10 raised to the power minus 31 kg into velocity is given to be 3 into 10 to the power 7 meter per second. So whatever value you will get in meters, right? The next major development towards the quantum mechanical model was the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, which states that it is impossible to determine simultaneously the exact position and momentum of an electron. Now इसके लिए उसने एक mathematical expression भी दिया था. He said the change in the position, that is delta x, and the change in the momentum is more than equal to h upon 4 pi, right? Now what does he say? He says that if an object is moving, you can either tell the exact position of it or the momentum or the velocity that it is possessing. You cannot determine both of them simultaneously. I can also write delta x into what is p? P is mv, right? So if I am putting a delta sign in front of momentum, then that means I should be writing delta m delta v. But there is change in the mass when the object is moving? No. So I will write it as delta mv greater than equal to 4 pi. Then I will write delta x into m into delta v greater than equal to upon h upon 4 pi. So this mass can go that side, and this will become h upon 4 pi m. Sorry. Now is it visible? Yeah. So now if I start explaining why it was done, Bohr said that there is a nucleus and then there are shells. For example, this is nucleus and these are shells, and electron is somewhere here and electron is revolving in it. So what did Heisenberg tried? He tried to find the position and momentum of this electron as told by Bohr, so that he can find out the path, right? So for this, now to know the position and momentum of this electron, he had to see the electron. Now how could he see the electron? He had to pass light. Now since he had to pass light, now we have to think which kind of light should he have projected on the atom so that the electron becomes visible. Now there is a rule that you need to remember, which says smaller the particle, smaller wavelength of light is needed. This is the basic thing that we have to keep in mind whenever we are trying to observe something. So we know that electron is small, so lambda of the light should be small. So if lambda is small, we know that frequency is c upon lambda. तो अगर मुझे वेवलेंथ कम चाहिए तो मुझे फ्रीक्वेंसी क्या करनी है? मुझे फ्रीक्वेंसी हाई चाहिए, राइट? सो एनर्जी ऑफ द फोटोन इज इक्वल टू एच न्यू. तो दैट मीन्स एनर्जी ऑफ लाइट जो आप उस पर इंसिडेंट करा रहे हो वो भी आपको हाई चाहिए. इफ यू वॉन्ट टू सी द इलेक्ट्रॉन दैट इज हियर, you have to hit it with the energy of the light being very high, so that the light gets deflected and then can be seen with an eye. So now what you have to understand is that as soon as photon hits the electron, what will happen? the impact would be large, because the energy of the light that you have incident on that particular atom is very high. So if very high energy is being projected, the impact is going to be huge. So now what will happen? Electron goes in a different direction. For example, if the energy is hit here, this electron will move somewhere else. And the moment the direction is changed, the velocity changes. And path also changes, because in different direction means the path has changed. So if path has changed, the velocity has changed. So if you still want to see the electron, what has to be done? You can find the position of that electron, but then you cannot find out the momentum. So at one particular time, because Bohr said that the electron revolves in the orbit, Heisenberg said, but you can't be sure of both the position and momentum at the same time. अगर तो आपको position देखनी है तो आप momentum नहीं calculate कर पाओगे, और अगर आपको momentum पता है तो फिर आप position नहीं देख सकते, क्योंकि आप कह रहे हो कि body is in motion. तो if it is in motion तो वो एक जगह पे हो ही नहीं सकती, right? So that is why his statement that delta x, the product of the position, the uncertainty, delta x means it is the uncertainty in position, and delta p is uncertainty in the momentum. The product is more than equal to h upon 4 pi. Now what is this? H is your Planck's constant, 6.6 into 10 to the minus 34 upon 4 into pi is 3.14. So if you see, your right hand side is constant. So the momentum, the mass, whenever the molecule is moving or it is being attacked with something, the mass is not going to change. That is what I told you in the previous 5 minutes. So now it is going to be delta x into delta v greater than equal to h upon 4 pi. अब अगर आपको न्यूमेरिकल मिलेगा तो आपको क्या करना है? You have to assume that it is equal to h upon 4 pi. And then अगर आपके पास डेल्टा x नहीं है तो आप ये निकाल लोगे, एंड वाइस वर्सा. इक्वल टू लेने का बेटा फ़ायदा ये है कि इफ़ यू टेक द इक्वल टू यू विल गेट द मिनिमम वैल्यू. ये ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू है ना, तो अगर इक्वल टू लोगे तो मिनिमम है, इसके बाद इससे हाई ही होगी वैल्यू. सो बाय टेकिंग this sign here you can solve your questions, and this will give you the minimum value. Now the product of the uncertainty is here is also constant. So we can also say that if delta x you are certain about, you know what is the uncertainty in the position, then you cannot be sure about the uncertainty in the velocity. We have seen डी ब्रॉगले ने डुअल नेचर ऑफ मैटर के लिए भी बात कर ली, हीजनबर्ग ने अनसर्टेनिटी के लिए बात कर ली. बोहर पे क्या फ़र्क पड़ा? बोहर पे ये फ़र्क पड़ा कि बोहर ने तो कहा न्यूक्लियस है और उसके बाहर शेल्स हैं जिसमें इलेक्ट्रॉन घूम रहा है. तो डी ब्रॉगले ने पहले तो आके इसको एक बड़ा झटका ये दिया दैट डी ब्रॉगले सेड दैट द वेवलेंथ इज इक्वल टू एच अपॉन एम वी. ही सेड दैट द इलेक्ट्रॉन हैज़ प्रीडोमिनेंट वेव नेचर. इसका क्या मतलब है? दैट path of electron is not fixed. बोर तो अब तक कहता आ रहा था that the electrons are revolving in a fixed orbit. तो that means डी ब्रॉगले ने उसका सबसे बड़ा assumption तो पहले ही गलत कर दिया, that he said the path of the electron is not fixed. So rather of electron moving like this or in the other direction, as per डी ब्रॉगले electron अब कैसे घूमने वाला है? Electron will be moving like this because it is having a wave nature. Then came Heisenberg, और Heisenberg ने क्या कहा? That you are uncertain about the position and the velocity. So if you won't talk about the orbits, as you are not going to talk about orbits anymore. Orbits का तो concept है ही नहीं. क्यों नहीं है? Because it is not certain. Right? So now फ्रॉम नाउ ऑन जो बोहर ने बोला था इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आर मूविंग इन ऑर्बिट, कहानी ख़त्म. नाउ वी आर नो मोर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट ऑर्बिट्स हियर. सो द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ ऑर्बिट वॉज रूल्ड आउट which was given by Bohr, it was ruled out by Heisenberg. Now we are only going to talk about probability. अब हम ये तो बता ही नहीं सकते क्योंकि हिजनबर्ग ने कहा कि या पोजीशन या मोमेंटम आप एक बार में बता सकते हो. So that means now I cannot be very sure about the electron because I can only be sure about one thing. So now I'm going to say that I can only say that the probability of finding an electron in a particular position is high or less. So from now on the concept of probability came into the picture. So Bohr was completely given a blow off by de Broglie and Heisenberg, and the concept of orbitals came into the picture. इसके बाद इन्होंने बात की कि ऑर्बिट हमें नहीं पता क्योंकि ऑर्बिट का मतलब था फिक्स्ड शेल. हम अब नहीं बता सकते कि इसका फिक्स्ड शेल है नहीं है, कैसे मूव कर रहा है. अब हम सिर्फ ये बता सकते हैं कि इलेक्ट्रॉन के बारे में क्या उसके यहाँ होने की पॉसिबिलिटी है. So now the concept of orbitals came into the picture. I'm repeating this again and again so that there is no confusion. Now what are orbitals? Orbitals is where probability of finding an electron is maximum, right? So I am only going to deal with this from now on. So now what is the difference between an orbital and an orbit? Orbit is by Bohr. Bohr said that orbit is a well-defined circular path of the nucleus in which the electrons are revolving. Orbital is a 3D space, a region where the probability of finding an electron is maximum. It need not be a circular path, it can be anything. And this is as per the current accepted model, that is quantum mechanical model. Then as per Bohr, we know that an orbit can accommodate 2n square electrons. For example, if it is 1, only the first orbit can have 2 electrons. And as we go on, the formula can be applied. But in orbital, it can have a maximum of 2 electrons only and not more than that, ever. Orbit is circular, orbitals are of different shapes. But when I talk about orbit, it is also against the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, because it was by Bohr's and Heisenberg's uncertainty principle proved the assumptions taken by Bohr wrong. And orbital, it is in complete accordance with the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. All right. Now let's take up a question. The question says that find the uncertainty in the velocity of an electron if the uncertainty in its position is within the distance of 0.1 Armstrong. So we know the formula is delta x into delta v equal to upon 4 pi m. We'll be using the equal to sign here for the numericals. Masses of the electron, mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 131 kgs. Then what is given to you? The uncertainty in its position is given. That means delta x is given to you, which is 0.1 Armstrong. But I will convert it into meters. So it is going to be minus 10 meters. Right? Now you have to calculate the uncertainty in the velocity. So I will put the values. Delta x is 0.1 into 10 to the power minus 10 meters into delta v. H here is 6.6 into 10 raised to the power minus 34 kg meter square per second upon 4 into 3.14 into the mass. Again it has to be in kgs. So it is 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 1 kg. Kg cancel, 1 meter cancels from 1 meter here. So now what will be delta v? Delta v would be 6.6 into 10 raised to the power minus 34 upon 4 into 3.14 into 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 into 0.1 into 10 to the power minus 10 meter per second. Calculation part you can do. Now the next question. So the next question is that a golf ball of 90 grams is moving with a speed of 160 meters per second, which was measured with an accuracy of 10%. Calculate the uncertainty in the position of ball. What do you have to calculate? You have to calculate delta x. The mass of ball is given to you as 90 grams. But since my h value would be in kg, so I will convert it into kg here only. Alright. Now it says delta v. बेटे देखो यहाँ लिखा है स्पीड ऑफ 160 मीटर पर सेकेंड. ये आपको स्पीड दी है, अनसर्टेनिटी इन स्पीड नहीं दी है. उसके बाद उसने कहा है विच वॉज मेजर्ड विद एन एक्यूरेसी ऑफ 10%. बेटा 10% कैन बी द एरर. मेरी बात समझो, अगर आपने कोई एक चीज़ को रिकॉर्ड किया है, आपने वेलोसिटी रिकॉर्ड की है और आप कह रहे हो कि एक्यूरेसी उसकी 10% है, तो आपने क्या रिकॉर्ड किया है? आपने कुछ नहीं किया. सो वेन एवर यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द अनसर्टेनिटी, the error it can be only a very very small amount. It can't be 90%. अगर मैं इसके हिसाब से देखूँ तो एक क्वेश्चन में कह रहा है accuracy of 10%. अगर ये accuracy है तो uncertainty क्या होगी? 90%. तो फिर आपने किया ही क्या था उसके अंदर? So uncertainty has to be of a very small value only. So please do not get confused and do not take it as 90%. Here it means it is talking about the uncertainty only. So if it is delta V, it would be 10 upon 100 because 10% है accuracy, uncertainty, it multiplied by 160 meters per second. So this turns out to be 16 meters per second. So now if I put it in the formula, delta x calculate करना है, delta V है 16 meter per second equal to 6.6 into 10 to the power minus 34 upon 4 into 3.14 into 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31. Whatever the answer comes, that is going to be in meters and would be your answer.